What the? He's up, my people. How are you guys doing today? You know what I'm saying? Check the. You know what I'm saying? Today we got another reaction. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to knock out a bunch of them today. You know, working. And yeah, this first reaction is gonna be the Taliban taking over Afghanistan. And if you don't know what's happening right now, and apparently in Afghanistan, what's happened is there was a treaty signed basically saying that the U.S. would pull out, slowly withdraw from Afghanistan. And with that, if you don't know the landscape of Afghanistan, kind of how it works from my understanding is that there is the Afghan government, which the U.S. kind of put in place, and then there's the Taliban, who kind of are the terrorist organization that run that place because they're so strong. It's almost kind of like, you could almost relate it to like a cartel, but it's definitely not as drug related. It's more of, it's a radical religious movement, a terrorist movement. Is very different. So basically, what the U.S. did was they propped up the Afghan government to destabilize the Taliban, and the Afghan government is not as strong as it should be. So that's kind of why it fell so quickly. Because basically, what has happened is, since 9/11, America's went over to Afghanistan. A lot of people say just for oil and resources, but we never know. It really is for oil and resources. We kind of know that, but yeah. So we've been over there since around 9/11. So basically, what people are so mad about is we've basically been over there for about 20 years, and all that collapsed in a matter of months, or basically weeks and days, because the Taliban took back literally all of Afghanistan damn near as soon as we left. So yeah, and it's kind of a bad situation over there right now. There's probably going to be a large refugee situation because if you don't know, the Taliban is a radical religious organization. They're very fundamentalist, and Islamic fundamentalists, what they get off on, not get off on, but what they're kind of about is fundamentalism, which is like taking the literal, you know what I'm saying, the literal translation. And I don't know if you've ever read the Quran, but it's not the most forgiving book. Yeah, I'm gonna just keep it at that. A lot of the women are in danger right now. Yes, it's not a very good situation over there. So let's just get straight into this video and see what Joe and his guest have to say about it. I have no idea who the guest is, but we will see. Let's get straight into it, guys.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
I watched Restrepo last night because of what's going on in Afghanistan. Do you know Restrepo, Sebastian Junger's film on Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Just sort of
Sorry, I adjust my mic.
just put it in perspective, like what's going on over there now. And it's, I mean, books are amazing for putting things into perspective, but there's something about a documentary, especially a boots on the ground documentary by a journalist like Sebastian Junger. And
Okay, I do not know who Sebastian Younger is, but what he's talking about with the boots on the ground documentaries, he's very correct. Those are very popular. Those are very like engaging types of formats that people like to use, and honestly, I love watching stuff like that. So 100%, he's right. Those boots on the ground documentaries are gonna
in Afghanistan,
put a lot
while
of
Afghanistan
stuff
is
on that.
falling to the Taliban, so it feels it's so intense when you're watching it, and you see, guys in the beginning of the film that wind up dying, and it's
deep, some deep shit.
First of all, I forgot, like, I think you have a sense of what they mean when they talk about these mountainous areas,
Very mountainous.
in mountainous terrain that's impossible really to control because it's very difficult to traverse, very difficult to get around. I don't think you really understand it until you watch that film.
Exactly.
Until you
Hold up. Okay. So what he's talking about here is how mountainous Afghanistan is. So with Afghanistan, it's literally kind of a mountainous country. It's almost all mountains. I forgot the movie on Netflix, but there's one movie about an outpost in Afghanistan that's literally in the center. Say for example, this is flat ground. Literally, it's encompassed by mountains, and they get shot at every day from Taliban and all types of stuff. And it's crazy to look at the landscape because it's so different from anything you see in America. I'm assuming my viewer base is mostly gonna be Americans. So in America, we have mountains, but they're not gonna be like Afghanistan. And one fun fact about Afghanistan is nobody has ever stayed too long and conquered Afghanistan. It's never happened. Like Russia occupied Afghanistan in 1979 to 89, and they occupied, and they were kind of responsible. They played a part in the creation of the Taliban, actually. America, Russia, they played a part in the creation of the Taliban because Russia occupied America. America gave money to I forgot the terrorist organization name. They gave money to another terrorist organization, not the Taliban, to try to overthrow the Russians, and then those eventually kind of transformed into what we have today as the Taliban. So it's a very, very long history in the Middle East with like crazy things like this, and I find it very interesting because it's very different from my own culture. So I like to look at it. But let's get back into the video before I keep rambling.
Really, you see the mountains, and you're like, oh God, like how is anybody ever going to control this area? Like, no wonder why the Soviets failed. No wonder why we failed. No wonder why, the people that live there, they're living in an incredibly difficult environment in terms of like just getting around.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember some statistics about like 99% of people in Afghanistan. Now I sound like Brian Callen.
Afghanistan.
Iran, Iran. Yeah, I never know how to say it.
Yeah.
I remember like 99% of them didn't know 9/11 happened.
Whoa. How do you guys feel about
they're
that?
completely disconnected from the world. Even
That's so crazy.
even things that seem relevant to.
Did you watch the videos today of people trying to climb aboard planes and falling to their deaths? The planes are taking off. These guys are hanging on to the landing gear, and as the landing gear pulls up, they're falling to their death.
Okay, what he's talking about there, if you do not know, there's a video. If you look it up, maybe I could insert it somewhere here. I'll play it. But there's a video of a U.S. like cargo plane pulling out on a runway, and on that runway it's filled. It's all Afghanis, and they're trying to hold onto the plane to flee with them because they know the Taliban is going to cause a lot of mayhem. It's going to be a lot of chaos. So it's really a sad sight. It's really a sad sight to see when you see people like that. They know they're not in a good situation. They know the impending doom that's coming, and they want to try to do as much as they can to divert it, and there's nothing they can do. So that's sad.
To save themselves?
Yes, trying to leave with the Americans. It's fucking crazy.
Sad.
Just the chaos at the airport is you haven't seen any of this stuff?
No, I haven't seen. I actually have not been paying attention to what's
Jamie,
happening.
show him some of the videos because it's heartbreaking. Yeah, these are people just literally climbing all over these ladders, doing whatever they can, trying to force themselves onto these planes.
Oh, damn, I did not see this.
But the really fucked one is look these guys hanging on the landing gear. Watch this, like falling to his death.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold up.
It's fucked.
Hold up.
Here, watch this. Like falling to his death. It's fucked. Yeah, and look at this. I mean, fuck.
Somebody fell to their death? I did not see
all these
that.
guys trying to stop the plane so that they can get on board.
Damn, bro.
I mean, this is just a tremendous failure.
This is fucked, bro. It's honestly
so heartbreaking.
Yeah, but
it's a sad situation to see when another country is going through something so bad and there's not much we can do to help, because think about it, America has spent 20 years in Afghanistan, probably more. I'm not really doing the math correctly because I don't know the exact years they came and left. But since we basically completely withdrew from Afghanistan at this point, it's kind of sad to see that the government that we spent 20 years building and billions of dollars and lots of bodies to put in their position were taken so quickly. It's kind of sad to see that, but it is what it is, and I hope there can be something to like help these people remedy this situation, but you never really know with stuff like this. You never really know, and it's kind of hard because it's like how long can you? It's like how long? Oh wait, where's my mic? It's like how long can you help? You know what I mean? So let me check this out. It's like how long can you help? And I'm not gonna say this is on Afghanistan, but there has to be accountability on their part. And for 20 years and billions of dollars spent and lots of training, America trained their military for over 20 years. So it's a sad situation to see. It's just sad. It's nothing you can do about it.
What could be done differently, right? That's the real question. Like, could have.
I don't know.
could they have
My final one.
designed a better withdrawal plan that
Possibly.
scaled over time,
Possibly.
where they gave particularly the people that helped the American military
Protection.
over there, that they're
Protection.
very vulnerable right now.
Very
They're in
vulnerable.
a lot of trouble. Could they have protected them better?
Very vulnerable. One group of people in Afghanistan that are very vulnerable right now, at least that I've seen on social media, is the female judges, because the Afghani government, when they were propped up by the U.S., they had they were very progressive in terms of like having female like leaders, and like there were female judges, females. I think females were allowed to drive and things like that. When before they were not. So it was a big change, and it's basically say for instance, a female judge is basically everything that the Taliban would stand against. They would that would be like that would be something that's like a prime enemy to them, because that goes against everything in fundamentalist Islam. So it's just sad, because where are they gonna go? You know, where are these these higher status, higher authority females gonna go? Because they're going to be instant targets, you know? So it's sad.
Could they have done something? Could they have designed a plan? That's what
They
most
100%
people
they
were
could have.
criticizing this.
100% that could have been a
People that
better
actually
plan.
understand what's going on over there. They think this idea of pulling out immediately.
Yeah, but
It wasn't
half
an
the
immediate
world is
pullout, though.
living under authoritarian regimes. So the question is, how do you help those people? How do you help? You had a nice, sophisticated, deep historical conversation with Andrew Schultz about North Korea.
Yeah.
But
Are you being sarcastic?
there's a little bit of sarcasm there. I love him. He's hilarious. I'm just
He
joking.
is hilarious, but he was.
If you know Andrew Schultz is, he's a comedian, and he's on JRE pretty often, but he's pretty funny.
He was going hard in the paint.
Yeah, a little bit.
But he's.
But like, how do you help?
He's having fun.
Well, the one sort of sophisticated criticism there was, well, what the hell do you do about it?
Right.
Meaning-
What do you do?
What do you do
about North Korea? Well, what?
There's not much you can do about North Korea. They've tried to sanction them and cut off food and other things, but when they do that, they literally just threaten nukes. So it's not much you can do. But on the other hand, let's go back real quick. This dude right here, I like his fit. I'm not gonna lie. I like the black suit, white shirt. I'm digging it.
About North Korea? Well, what?
And
Yeah.
there's a lot of places like that. And North Korea is probably the worst or one of the worst. But there's a lot of places where the leader of the government is abusing its people. What do you do about it?
A lot of places.
The whole cryptocurrency, Bitcoin people say, maybe you can change the money. You can give people power by, like one of the ways government controls its people is the monetary system. So you
Yeah.
can like swap out, try to give people power through the money. That's one
how
way.
though?
That's interesting.
I'm kind of confused by that. Like, I can understand the concept of not having the authoritarian regime have power over the currency. I can understand that, because like China, they'll fluctuate the values of their currency intentionally, or I can't remember if it was Japan or China, but one of them, they do that intentionally. So I can understand how that, you know, the decentralized currency will definitely make a difference. But I'm curious as to how, like, exactly how you do that.
You see, the old school way is military, or also maybe economic pressures. Then it becomes difficult because you're taking on that project, and then you get the thing that you get in Afghanistan.
That's true.
And you know, it's a project that takes 10 years, it takes 20 years, and then ultimately it's not successful.
The
Exactly.
Afghanistan situation is so crazy because, you know, Biden was on television just a little while ago talking about how there's
Yes.
300,000 armed Afghanistan soldiers that were trained by the United States, and there's only 75,000 Taliban. There's no way that they're going to fall.
What?
But they never fought. They just gave up, like, instant.
Seriously? They didn't even fight. They gave up. 300K soldiers trained with the U.S. military. And they just give up? Are you serious? That makes no sense. It doesn't to me. I don't know the real story behind it, but if that's the truth, I'm taking this as the face value truth. That is fucking ridiculous. Pure and simple. Fucking ridiculous, bro. A lot of the times, too, you got to think the Taliban and those armies are not too different. They're from the same area. They know each other. So He probably had a lot of people who were in the Afghan army had friends in the Taliban. Probably a lot of them probably were sympathetic towards the Taliban. Because don't get me wrong, the Taliban is a terrible, evil organization, but some people defend it because I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know what the good they do. Some people defend that they do good. I don't know what they do. But if you know what they do, drop below in the comments something good the Taliban has done for the Afghani people, and because I'm curious.
Yeah.
It's like the whole situation is very confusing to someone who doesn't understand it. If you're if you're a guy who fought over there too, it's got to be insanely frustrating. People spilled blood over there. People lost limbs over there, and then they're seeing how quickly we just pull out and abandon ship. Like what was that for?
Nothing.
Well, we got into that war under false pretenses.
Exactly.
We stayed without much transparency about why we're staying. How many
20 fucking years.
Yeah.
20 fucking
without a clear plan for the future, and then we pulled out without a clear, transparent plan. Yeah. But I don't know what else to draw from that, except that we should never gone in the first place.
That is the best explanation I've heard. It just shouldn't have happened. A lot of people say they went for oil. I would agree with that because I don't know any other reason we would go. There was no weapons. You know what I mean? There's no crazy shit over there. It was a financial move, but yeah, he's right. We should have never been there. The money lost. We lost money. Lost lives, 20 years, a lot of people, a lot of mothers, because men and women, so a lot of mothers and fathers, and it's useless for what 20 years. Imagine your father dies in Afghanistan, and and then you find out that the mission he's on is to protect the people there and to stabilize that region for prosperous future for them. And then you find out later that mission was bullshit. That mission was a financial mission, and the mission failed and was handled very poorly. And his loss of life was for nothing because the mission that took 20 years to complete was never completed. It was a fail over 20 years. It's ridiculous.
That's the only sort of solid set of arguments you can have. And like, why that place? It's the people that argue it's all about oil and all those kinds of things.
And minerals. And minerals. All sorts of natural resources, right? And natural gas. Like Afghanistan is a
mineral hub.
Suppository of lithium.
Resource hub.
Too, right?
Yeah, natural. But then what about Iraq? Like, what does that have to do with anything? And so you start questioning the whole operation, the whole process of making decisions about foreign policy and the military conflicts. What lesson do you draw from that when there's places like North Korea, when there's many people in Africa suffering, there's many regimes that are abusing its people there. Then there's people that criticize Russia for certain things in terms of from an authoritarian regime perspective, and then the big one is China. And then what do you do about that?
There is a lot of large authoritarian leaders or regimes out right now, like you just said, Russia, China. Even though China is kind of an oligarch situation, it's a communist. I don't know, but there's a lot of countries in not particularly great situations in terms of leadership. And he's right. I mean, this is not looking good for some places, and I would love to see what happens. I feel like it's only going to get worse, in my opinion, but hopefully it can get better.
I do find the libertarian argument here the most sophisticated and convincing. Is we should stay out of other people's business until we have a really clear, good plan. And
I agree.
The majority of Americans, given a transparent communication of what is going on and what we're going to do, majority of Americans are behind this plan. Otherwise, stay out of it. Unless you have, when you have like something like a Nazi Germany, where there's obvious atrocities,
and then needs to. Well, there's an obvious thing like that where you need to intervene. 100% right.
War on the horizon, then that's different. But everything else.
Well, if that's the case, then why aren't we invading North Korea? If Wyoming Park and all these different people that have escaped from North Korea are telling the truth, that there's a Holocaust going on there right now. I mean, they're literally starving their people. They're putting their people in concentration camps. They're having children born in concentration camps for the crimes of their grandparents, and their children will also be born in these camps. In these prison camps.
Oh my god, that sounds crazy as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea if any of that's like substantiated, proved any facts or anything. But if that is true, I'm not gonna lie. I don't see a full scale invasion of North Korea happening. I don't, at all. How crazy their leader is, their stockpile of weapons. I don't believe that would happen. Because you gotta think, everything North Korea has threatened up to this point, or every time North Korea has been threatened, they've always responded with more threats, as in nukes. You know what I mean? Like, we literally cut them off from rice. We sanctioned their rice or something like that, and their response was, yeah, nukes. We're gonna nuke you. Like, you know, it's kind of a crazy regime. I don't see that happening. But this video is almost over, guys, so bear with me, and we're gonna get through it.
They're starving their people. They execute them for, almost no reason. They do whatever they want to them. They have full and total, complete control over them.
But that's a lot of places.
The dark answer, and the reason is because there's no way to do anything about North Korea without also doing something about China.
Yeah.
And that's
because they're partnering, they're buddy. That's why we turn such a blind eye, because China's such a superpower and they back North Korea, and they're our largest debtor as well, and there's nothing we can quite do about that without conflicting with China. So it's I'm not gonna say it's useless, but you have to weigh your risks and rewards. You know what I mean?
Blind eye to North Korea, because that's a war with North Korea or invasion of North Korea is an invasion of China.
Watch the entire episode for free only on Spotify.
All right, guys, that was it. The Taliban taking over Afghanistan. What did you guys think about that? It's a fucked up situation. Honestly, the whole situation's fucked. I don't know how it was handled this way, and it really shouldn't have happened. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, follow the Twitter, the Instagram, the Twitch, all that. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Got
a lot of blue stones on me, baby. I ain't tryna take home. I just got another phone. Tell her gotta leave me alone. Got a lot of blue stones on me, baby. Plus I got another zone. And I got another home. I just found some better dome. Got a lot of blue stones on me, baby. I don't even know your name. Like a son of Johnny Depp. Gas box, new chain. Gas box. Got a lot of